with their particular heaven. They are only the entities that we're talking about that set up this particular set is just as closed off sector of the universe, only was able to create a replica of what the original primal worlds were. So a replica is something, it's a mock type of creation. It means, although it has the scenery and the different aspects based on, it might have a functional setup, but that setup is only in illusionary phenomena, which means that in actuality, it is not the complete real thing. It's something that is like a phase, or something that's like a hologram, basically, that in its infancy, it might have the structure, it might have the strength to actually hold up reality to a certain point, but as it goes on, it constantly breaks down. So basically, these entities that set up this universe, which is called Universe A, they set this universe up off the existing primal universe, which was real. The other universe went to sleep because, like everything, in order for something to function, it had to have an element of disorder in it. That is called the law of alchemy of opposites. Alchemy of opposites. Now here's the particular picture of a tree. This particular Kabbalistic tree. But as you can see, within this particular Kabbalistic tree, there's another tree inside of it. I don't know if you can see it. There's another tree on the inside of it. The particular bottom part here is called Malkuth or Maku, which is earth. And that earth itself develops another tree. This particular universe you see here is Universe A, the existing universe, which, as you can see, is only the scattered dots let you know that it's only a replica. It's only illusionary phenomenon. The real world is down here at the bottom in earth, in the part called hell or Tartarus, being regenerated. Now, what does this mean? Everything that we're talking about has to be turned around when it comes to this whole satanic thing, and I'm trying to explain this to you. The word satanic, the origin of that particular thing comes from the word setan, and shaitan, or set, or the word shut, soot, and also shit, is an ancient word for this particular deity, which means excrement. Excrement means that it is something that is left over from a previous thing that might be a degenerative substance, but anyone know anything about excrement, it later on becomes what? A fertilizer. And it later on becomes a recycling tool for a later new birth. You see? That's what the whole scarab dung beetle that the Egyptians recognized, that hang around shit, that would later on grow wings and become a beacon of light, just like the phoenix, which ash is the leftover primal substance, and the phoenix rising up from the ashes. This ash that you're talking about, that you see, is nothing but a form of carbon, but what we're talking about is a primal ash, or a primal carbon substance, which is embodied in the ancient people of black people. You see. So now, do you understand the magnitude of what I'm saying? Just listen to what I'm saying here. First of all, the primal worlds later on was known in the new worlds as hell, Tartarus, or Mentor, Hades, or whatever, a lower sector of the most condensed entities. Now, if you know anything based on the regenerative process, light is already a creation of something. That which is created can only burn out. You see, that's the way energy goes. The only thing to look to is that which is already a substance that is already degenerated to the point whereas it has become a substance that's on the brink of a new light being born. So ironically, basically, the hell part in the Kabbalah is talking about the kingdom of the shells. The shells are the most gross and condensed leftover part of the universe that was here before this particular form of the universe was formed. that later on became a lower section or a lower level of degenerative form that you know of as the demonic form, the hell form, or what you call the dark realms. That realm is in actuality the planet Earth and the inhabitants on the planet Earth, because we are the original people of that particular era. But what we don't realize is, before we were humans, we were a pre-human type entity. Pre-human type entity. It's just that when we read and learn about this in religions and stuff, when you see monsters, demons, imps, dwarfs, and all types of figures that you get in something like a fantasy, which is still a fantasy world in some child's fantasy book now. In actuality, this is a physical representation or a symbolic representation of what we used to be as advanced deities. It only looks as gross material because this world is dialectically opposite from that world in which we came out of. So when in this world, based on us growing used to seeing ourselves as human beings, when we look into that particular primal path, it scares us because we're so oppositely cut away or oppositely cut away from the original form of what we used to be. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that primal face in the mirror. You get where I'm coming from here? Yes. This is new exploratory ground that has been, in the last 2,000 years, rehashed into this embodiment of evil. So what happened is our ancient people understood that there were much more to earth than what we perceived it to be as everyday life on earth. The true ancient people took and reserved a spot in their mythology and their history for that particular part of pre-human existence in which we were on an advanced level. And they deserved it, preserved it in the section of dragons, monsters, beasts, demons, and all of these type of things, which were literally hieroglyphic symbols for this pre-human activism. As time went on, the later day people, or not even just white people, but later day black people that was removed from their people for thousands of years, because we ruled for so long, until the later day people, by rehashing or trying to retranslate this mythology of the ancient people, got separated from what this particular portion of the text meant as far as our soul. So because them not understanding and lost the knowledge of it, they just say, well, that's just the evil stuff. And we will build that in the mythology as just being negative. You understand what I'm saying? Only because they forgot the knowledge of it. But that which they forgot the knowledge of it used to be their pre-existing self. You get this one coming from here? So then but even the word beast that you hear and that you're so scared about, what is the riddle of the beast? The true riddle of the Sphinx is the beast sits in the middle of the earth, called the Sphinx. That's the beast.
The lion?
The lion. That's the beast. And the man is on top. Beauty. No, the woman is on top. Excuse me. That's where you get your original story, Beauty and the Beast. So the beast, 666 in the Bible, is the Sphinx. The beast 666 in the Bible is also known as Leviathan. But Leviathan is an ancient form of the goddess Tiamat or Babylon. The Bobby Lion or the Babylonian, which is the Sphinx. So Tiamat, Leviathan, is the Sphinx. Now there's one other enigma of the Sphinx. What is the Sphinx? The Sphinx is the ultimate symbol of the Christ. Horus on the horizon. Right? Horamachus. Right? So now how can one thing, the Sphinx, the beast that they're talking about is Satan. On the other hand, it's the Christ. You get it? So in actuality, we're talking about two forms of the same entity. The same entity. The Revelation text, first of all, is printed the way it is, but based on the people who acquired it, later on, ended up making it moralistic and trying to feed their little old stuff in about this particular dragon up under, and everything, because in religion, everything either got to be two things, good and evil. That's it. You don't have no religion. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, this particular text that came out of ancient Kemet was robbed by Cambyses, which was a king of Persia, that ransacked the temples and took it back to Persia, and then the Christians acquired it from Persia. But there's a whole book of, but it's just, that apocalypse that we read as the apocalypse is just 1, 2 or 3 pages out of a whole book of apocalypses in Kemet. Basically, at the complete text of all the texts that we have in mythology is called eschatology, something that happened in a later date. They recorded history something totally separate from that which is with mythology. We only get history lining up with the mythological phase in 2,000 years ago with Jesus Christ and Judaism, Islam, and even some forms of Buddhism, where they had to integrate both a system of history and mythology together, which in actuality is a tragedy, because the mythological system is such an advanced system. This particular piece right here is called, the Kalipos. The Kalipos. Now, let's see if I can find another one so I can explain to you better. Here it is. In the bottom of the Kabbalah, you will see this sphere called Malkut. It's called the earth, and it's called the kingdom. In this particular sphere, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little part that has an X marks the spot. Number one, the X marks the spot is 2 representations. Number one, it also represents the black dot, because the X also represents earth, water, fire, and air, the 4 elements. But also, this particular part down here is also in Malkut, which is the sphere of the earth right here. This particular part also in Hebrew is called Genea, which is called hell. This particular X marks the spot. Although it is hell, it is what is going to be called the new world to come, which is the New Jerusalem. So we've been looking up into the holographic universe, this universe, thinking that the heaven is above, when in actuality, the heaven is below. It's totally different. That which is already created and existing part of the universe can only run its cycle until it ends. The New Jerusalem, or the new part, has got to be something that was primal, that went into a hibernation, like a metamorphosis, and will come again. So we're talking about something totally different. Now, the reason why this is so important, because just about all of the movies in the last 3 or 4 years has been talking about the hero, or their particular hero, battling these so-called demonic forces. But these particular demonic forces are nothing but black people, if you understand the history and the mystery of Damien. In the Kabbalah, it's called a Kalipos. The Kalipos realm is also the earth, but you get the word Kalipos. If you look at the actual word, it also has the word Thoth in it, Athos in it also too. The Kalipos energies are energies that were cast down in a pit. And this particular X marks the spot that I've shown. And it's just like any type of energy. If it's bottled up over billions and millions of years, just like wine, it becomes stronger, 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 and stronger. The irony of this entire thing is that the particular energies that shut us up into this particular state of being trapped or chained to a certain level or structure, lower part, or confined or concealed into a lower part of the cosmos, or what you call the lower part of the earth. The irony of it is those the same particular energy, although they were strong and young at the beginning, they have now become weaker and weaker and weaker, so they don't even have the strength to even support nature as far as the weather. So the weather is up to grabs to anybody, not only black people but white people with weather modification systems. If the weather was on its regular course of a certain entities controlling it, they wouldn't have been able to do that. But basically, I know for a fact, because I can call on Oya at any time, and I've been doing it for the last 5 or 6 months, and I can control the weather too, so I know it's up for grabs. I know it's up for grabs, and all. The Kalipos is also Sirius B. We live in 2 parts of the universe. The universe is broken down in 2 parts. The manifested universe, which is the world of manifestation, which is a younger Mach part of the universe, or is a part of the universe that is a imitation of an original universe. The original universe went condensed and closed in on itself to create a brand new spark. Get where I'm coming from here? That's called universe B, or Sirius B. Sirius A is the shine from the original universe before it went into decline. Before, the original universe used to be Sirius A and its great mother. It went into decline and became Sirius, and Sirius B was that particular aspect of it that went into decline. Like any star, the shine that we get in the brightest star on the planet is only a hologram or dimensional aspect of what that particular primal world used to be. Primal world used to be. The sun took its place as the new form of energy that lights up this particular solar system is what we're actually talking about here, which is this mark or this imitation universe. The earth being the filtering part of that would later on overthrow this particular solar system. And the black man on the earth or the black woman on the earth is those particular entities that all the primal entities in the beginning that will live again. You all are getting this? You getting this particular information? The earth also went through several parts, because what we're talking about is also the original primal universe, although it grew for millions of years and it was real structure before this holographic universe came into being, or this imitation universe, it had a certain element in it that was imperfect. So the series of, even though it was overthrown, it used that overthrowing as a series to graft out that imperfection. So you have the original universe, which is Sirius, that came into Sirius A. From it, it grafted out an imperfection, which would be the sun in this solar system, which would be the imperfection of that particular primal universe. From that imperfection, you have what is the earth, which would be an imperfection which is grafted out of that particular part. So then the earth in order for the earth to get the good part about it, it grafts out the moon, and the moon is the imperfected part of the earth. That's the imperfection part. So the earth was also made, on the physical form, it was made a perfect world for along the physical last, and also, but then on the other hand, man had an imperfection about him, and he grafted that out, and that later on became fucking European. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a series of replenishing and throwing out that which is making that particular part not perfect. So the European just represents that particular part of us that later on had to be grafted out. You see what I'm saying? And then later on, our souls would have to throw off this particular husk or shell, which would actually be the New Jerusalem or the new universe. But that New Jerusalem and that new universe that we're looking for is not in the heaven above. In the Hermetic material, they say that the heaven above is between the heavens and earth, which means it is not really heaven or the true earth. It's between, and that's the heaven that everybody prays to, but it does not have the nourishment for everything in the universe. It is the most divine is on the earth, in the ground, in the circle, which is the highest of the heavens. So therefore, on the other hand, we're talking about what we call the hell realm, which is called torturous, was that primal excrement at the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Which now we've gotten caught up in this all types of fundamentalism, and it's been a whole system that teach you against that. You see what I'm saying? So it's one thing that this moralism came in to rule the earth, and we was part of some of that, because some of this was going on in Egypt and every other place. But it's another thing when the Illuminati or the white boy finds out that system and say, make sure that this church is all across the land so these people can never understand the true essence of what this is.
Right.
Now going back to this particular Damianic thing, which is there's a book that lets you try to understand, so because we need to document things, so you don't think that I'm sitting up in here running my mouth. Here's a book by Patrick Harpur, or Harpur, H-A-R-P-U-R, Harpur. I guess that's it, I don't know. It's called Damianic Reality, Understanding the Otherworld Encounters. Damianic Reality, Understanding Otherworld Encounters. And in here they also go into the whole UFO thing, which we're going to address in a few minutes on a whole nother level. Other than what this whole New Age thing where they done got stuff and ran with it. Got stuff and ran with it. A lot of the stuff I'm telling you is also put forth in your movie, the new X-Files movie. You see this pre-primal substance that was here before the dinosaurs that is supposed to be evil in this particular time that will later on replace man, but using man as the host. That is nothing but melanin. That titanium dust that was the primal worlds was crushed into and made into human beings. That particular dust, based on the Greek religion and based on research in this book and research in most of the Greek religion and stuff that I've been dealing with at this particular time, that primal substance was called daemons or demons, which is nothing. So the word demon is nothing but an ancient Greek word for melanin. The ancient Egyptian word is almonds. So now the church, and now it works hand in hand because we're talking about a reflective mirror. If melanin is a cosmic computer that programs what you give it, then therefore if you program it to be negative, it is just that negative. It's just a matter of understanding that the angel of death becomes an angel of light. See what I'm saying? Give you another scenario. Go back and look at the movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Which the stuff that was in the ark is supposed to be melanin. That's what it is. The tablets of Moses or the 47 negative confessions is nothing but... See, the 47 negative confession, which is what, 147 or something? Yeah. Is in actuality not what the priest would recite what the human body wouldn't do. I have not done this. It's impossible for you not to do something and live in the human body. Otherwise, you'd be living a lie that said that the Egyptians or anybody in the human body lived up to those negative confessions. Or the 10 Commandments, if that matter. It was not talking about this. This was an ancient record of what the soul was not doing, because the soul is pure, because the soul is dormant on the inside, sleeping. You see what I'm saying? In hibernation. In the cocoon. So this is a record of what the soul was not doing, but these particular records of the soul, melanin is that soul. First of all, we need to get that straight. Because we got a lot of New Age groups on, and they try to make like the soul has no color and all that kind of bull. But melanin is the soul. That's one thing it is, because it's more than just a substance. It's just that we was taught about the melanin thing based on the people who first got it in the Afrocentric movement. A lot of them, other than Richard King, who has a lot more information on this particular stuff. But a lot of the other people were medical doctors, so they looked at this stuff from a physiological aspect, and they didn't understand that the whole world, the world occult means hidden. So the occult alone is another form of melanin, which is talking about the hidden soul. Which Amen is just another name for melanin, the hidden God. You see what I'm saying? The hidden God. So let's see. So the Daemons are something left behind. Let's go into a couple other things right now on the thing. First of all, I want to stop right now and I want to address the question of widest pressure on the mind based on the whole computer thing shutting down and the Y2K thing. We heard a lot of things about, over the years, we heard a lot of things about the money changing and all of this type of thing, but when we heard about those things, we only heard about those things from either New Age groups, Illuminati groups, and all types of stuff like that. So we don't know if that was a propaganda for the government to put out just to keep people, a certain element just to keep people looking for something in the future, to forget that the future is now. But now with this new computer thing, obviously they must be getting ready to go with something, because they have announced it too much on TV. There's several books on it. I was in the when I was in the airport coming here, there was so much stuff on it. And spiritually, it's a great way to do two things. First of all, and let me explain why this would happen. First of all, we know that tampering with people, when the computers go out, first thing is going to happen. They will lose all records of people's money. Now we know that the government is not going to give back no money, because that means the nigga can step off the damn street and say, no, I had this. So, we know that this is a perfect way to the government go. All things that was given to people in America in this experimentation of some type of state will go back to the state. This particular money and stuff will go back to the state. Because you never really own anything in America. If you, because the only real, they say that the only estate there is in America is real estate. But we also know if you don't pay taxes on it, you don't own it. Although you bought it several years ago. So that in itself lets you know that the only thing that they call real estate in this country is taxable, which means it's a ward of the government. That means that any other form of your commodities that they didn't think was feasible for you to tax, and you go and you keep it a certain time, all including your money, they saying by the year 2000 we're gonna take that from your ass too. You see what I'm saying? All that goes back to the government. You see, just like people losing their house before going back with the taxes. It set up two things. It set up the martial law thing, and I'll explain the esoteric version of why this has to happen. Because the Spirit gave me this in the Spirit the other day, and let me explain what's going on two levels. The first level is, and we got to show I'll put another option in there too. I'm going to put the other option in a few minutes. The first level is, if this does happen, let's say it does happen, this is a great way to set up martial law. But they got one problem. They can't really set up martial law because everybody got guns. Right? That means you got to make guns a crime. But they got another problem. They got the damn National Rifle Association, which is connected with the Constitution and the fabric of America. And it was very strong. When they tried to hit it in the early 90s, they got beat in the ground. But the government has something that is sure to win all the time. If you want to pass a law, kill some damn children.
Oh, okay.
And then you got them. So therefore, because they got cloning and implants and any other kind of thing, they let the little white kids start shooting each other up on the playground at school. Week after week after week. To set up legislation and a leverage power with children to fight the NRA, which was stronger than the government. And all of a sudden, they could even fight this thing on a high level because they done got children dead from it. So the NRA just badly said, well shit, we know that movie stars is actually the closest thing we got to God. And the closest thing the white man got to God is Charlton Heston, which is Moses, Ben-Hur, and whatever have you. So that's why they put him as the head of this thing, because he is the icon of the closest thing that the white man got as God. You see, all other Jesus Christ played through history is forgotten. Charlton Heston is the quintessential Moses that shatters all that. Played every damn Easter. Just like the Wizard of Oz, you can bet that shit coming on. So,
I just want to say real quick, OTO is a big supporter of the NRA.
You know, well, all that, but see, you got to realize this particular part. They have to. Now, let me explain the other part about this. So they battling. NRA got their part, which is another cult organization, and I can understand why. The other part is this. The government says, look, we got to not only sabotage black people, which we've been doing. That's just the business. The government just means enemy of